Well, welcome back, folks, to Granbury TV. It's time for our weekly sheriff's report. And how are you doing?
Doing good, staying busy.
How are you doing? It's 2012 finally.
2012. It's been fast and furious and definitely busy.
Well, yeah, I understand we have some interesting stuff we're going to talk about today.
Well, yeah, we kind of ended the year with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I shouldn't even said that. That's not a good thing for a hunter.
Right.
We had a group of hunters out on the other side of Toller at a deer camp. The hunter was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 29th at about 12:45 a.m., Hood County Sheriff's Office received a call of a shooting at 10905 West Highway 377. And really, the property was addressed off 377, but it really was a mile or more back in off 377,
Mm-hmm.
so it was way back in there. And when deputies responded, they discovered Justin Davis Johnson, 38 years old, from Lavon, Texas, had shot a fellow hunter with a small caliber pistol during an argument. The victim, a white male, 40 years old, from Addison, Texas, was shot twice, once in the neck and once in the back. Johnson also pointed the pistol at a witness at the scene after the shooting. The victim was airlifted to Harris Downtown in Fort Worth, where he was underwent surgery for his injuries and is listed in critical but stable condition. He's paralyzed from about just below the chest down. Mm-hmm. And that looks like it's going to be a permanent thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the suspect, Johnson, is currently in jail at present time and charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and that's felony 2. And bond was set at $750,000 each.
Wow.
So $1,500,000 total in bonds that he's sitting in my jail on. So
that's a big bond.
Yeah, that's very big. I don't remember anything quite like that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely since I've been sheriff, and over the years I really don't remember anything quite like that anyway. So it looks like he's not going to lose his life, but the victim is definitely paralyzed. Yeah. And will be for the rest of his life. So that was a very sad situation. And a lot of that's still under investigation, and there's a lot of people involved in that one. So mm-hmm. We had a couple who were arrested with 20 pounds of marijuana.
Wow.
That happened on the 29th also. And around 7:30 p.m., narcotics officers got information and conducting a drug investigation and arrested Jonathan Adam Lockhart. And he's 28 years old, and his wife, Jana Ray Lockhart, she's 25, for possession of marijuana over 5 pounds and under 50 pounds. And that's a felony 3, and bond was set at $10,000 on each of them. And this was at their home at 1201 North Fork Road and out kind of northeast of Granbury. Mm-hmm. Suspects who were married and were in possession of 20 pounds of marijuana when officers made contact. Both suspects were arrested and taken to jail, but they did make bond. And the street value of that marijuana was about $12,000 worth. Wow. And some of the information we got is they had just bought it.
Oh man.
They spent $8,000 and just picked it up like 45 minutes before we arrived at the residence. Mm. So what we like a lot of times is when we get these big drug dealers like this, we hope that they have a lot of money with them too, because then we can seize that because of the illegal act. Mm-hmm. They'd spent all their money, so all we got was 20 pounds of marijuana. That's a good thing. We got it off the street.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have another situation that's going on right now as we speak, that Bernie Mac Walls, he is a he spent 20 years in the penitentiary already in his life.
Yeah.
And he was found guilty of another crime of I can't remember, it was aggravated as a kidnapped, or I don't remember the exact reason, but he was found guilty and sentenced to another 20 years in the penitentiary for that. And while all this investigation was going on and concluding in that case, it was found, we always are looking at the cold cases from the past.
Right.
And we had a cold case from June 14th of 1987.
Wow.
So Bonnie Barber was murdered at the Comanche Cove boat ramp. And on March 6th of 07, the case was reopened. And so that was prior to me coming in as sheriff, because information started coming to light on some different things. And on February 24th of 2010, Bernie Mac Wall confessed to the murder, along with another murder out in Tyler. Well, actually it wasn't Tyler, it was east of, or just west of Texarkana. I think it was Cass County where that happened. So for a short period of time that he was out, in between the 20 years in the penitentiary and getting convicted of the 20 other years in the penitentiary, then he was a busy guy.
Apparently so.
Yeah, so he confessed to Rangers. My guys were working on this case a long time, and Texas Rangers got involved in the case because of both the cases here and there.
Right.
And so we ended up getting confessions out of both things. And so today in Judge Walton's court, they're up there right now as we speak, that I understand he's about to take a plea that will give him the rest of his life in jail with no chance of parole on this 1987 case. So at least the family will be able to have some closure after 25 years. So I know the district attorney, Rob Christian, he's very happy about this, and it's a big thing, so I don't want to take his thunder away, because he's really the one that has made it come to this conclusion finally.
Yeah.
He's been in my jail for 800, I don't remember the exact number, but over 800 days.
Wow.
He sat in my jail because of going to trial with the other case that he got 20 years for, and then all our investigation on the Cass County murder and this old murder. We just kept him here.
Right.
And because of the murder cases, it was thought that this possibly was going to go to a capital murder trial, and that'd be real expensive for the taxpayers of Hood County. Well, between all the attorneys together, we've kept him here so everybody could continue to work with him and work with his attorneys, and it's coming down to this conclusion of a plea out in district court today. So with that plea out, then it's not going to cost the county for a capital murder trial.
Right.
So that's a really good deal. And so that will all be over with, and his history of crime will be over, because he'll be locked up in the penitentiary for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Well, at least he's off the streets, and he's finally convicted. Like you said, the family can now have closure. That's always a good thing. When it's better late than never, I think, for them to have closure on him dying.
There's a number of TV shows that are on national TV, and that they research this stuff and try to solve these old cold cases that some aren't very old, but some are really old.
Right.
And some people, some family members are out there tore up about the whole situation, and don't ever get to have closure on that to where they can move on in their life until the thing is finally put to rest, that here's exactly what happened, and get it all behind them. So it doesn't happen a lot in some of these old cases, and especially when you talk about a 25-year-old case.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot that stayed the same, and a lot of memories are kind of fuzzy after that long, so you have to hope that there was enough reports done and statements taken, and enough information there that helped to follow up on over the years. And so some of these cases do come to a conclusion finally, and this is unfortunately one of them. Now, unfortunately, we do have some other cold cases that we're working here in the county. So I hope in my time as sheriff we get those solved. But
Yeah.
we'll just keep working away and hoping that the right person comes in. Like, we're getting ready to have the Crime Stoppers Crime of the Week, and that's what it takes sometimes. You just come to a brick wall that you've looked at all the evidence and you don't have any place else to go until finally somebody comes forward because they have such a guilty conscience, or
Right.
for whatever reason they want to get it off their chest and say, well, I saw this, or I did that, or I know that somebody confessed to me that they did this, and that doesn't solve the case, but at least it gets us farther down the road, and then we have to, confirm the details of what somebody is maybe telling us, especially when it's that serious of a case with a murder case. But that's why Crime Stoppers is so important a lot of times, is so we can get that information and get a lot of these cases solved.
Awesome. Well, then let's hear our Crime Stoppers for this week.
Well, the Crime Stoppers information for this week is on just drug information. Sheriff's Office is committed to stopping the use of illegal drugs in Hood County. If you have any information of someone selling marijuana, methamphetamine, or any other illegal narcotic, we need to know about it. Drug suspects are the ones that commit the burglaries, the thefts, crimes against children, and the elderly, and family violence. It's really the root of all evil. In 95% of all the cases of criminal activity in the world,
Yeah.
if you dig into that, you're going to find that somebody was a drug abuser, an alcohol abuser, and needed money to buy drugs, wanted to steal something so they could buy drugs or buy the stuff to make it.
Yeah.
So it's the root of all evil. Anyone with information on drug information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers at 817-573-TIPS, or you may go online at Hood County Crime Stoppers website, and that's hoodcountycrimestoppers.com, to submit a tip online. All tips remain anonymous. Upon arrest and indictment, you would receive up to a $1,000 reward. And there has been times, like today, this afternoon is our board meeting, once a month board meeting for Crime Stoppers, and on really good information on really serious crimes, the board has authorized more than $1,000 rewards. So officially it's $1,000 maximum, but unofficially, if it's a very serious crime, we need to get to the bottom of it, and a lot of times they will approve a bigger reward if it's good information.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I mean, I don't know if it was me and I had information on one of the Crime Stoppers that I had seen on TV, I would, or newspaper or wherever, I would definitely bring it to you. I mean, for the money. I mean, it's not just for the money, to put those people to rest, and then obviously, you always have that reward too. And there are some people that, I mean, I don't know anybody who couldn't use, some extra cash, and that's always a good thing. And I think that it helps pull some people in too. So
it surely does. So.
Well, hopefully you guys catch them, and that family will have closure with this case that's going on, and
they finally will, after 25 years. So.
Well, you got anything else for us this week?
Well, it's always got stuff in the works, and so don't really have anything I can talk about today. But probably that'll be next week's news, and I've got a lot of good investigators out there that are working hard on a lot of different crimes, the burglaries, the thefts, and then my narcotics investigators, they're always out there. You never know where they're going to turn up, and they've been getting a lot of good information and making a lot of cases, making a lot of things happen. And just like on that marijuana case with the 20 pounds of marijuana. So we'll have more news coming. Just can't tell you about it today.
Awesome. Well, we definitely look forward to finding out what happened this week, next week, and any other news you have for us. So
now it looks like we've made it through the new year. Everything was going really good on New Year's Eve, things were steady, but not real bad busy. And about 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm thinking, we're probably going to make it through without too much trouble. 2 o'clock came. I know we're going to make it through. Well, then about 3 o'clock in the morning, my phone starts ringing. So things didn't go as well as I had hoped, but it wasn't bad. In comparison to other New Year's Eves, it was fairly quiet.
Awesome.
And we had a number of arrests. I think after 6 p.m. on Christmas or New Year's Eve, I think we arrested 3 DWIs in the county, and then there was a number of other ones that were made over the weekend too, like that. People are still bound and determined to drink and drive, and if they do, there's lots of law enforcement out there in force that's going to probably find you. We get people that call in, not really like a Crime Stoppers tip, but just reckless drivers. And we know how serious that can be. We had a driver the other day that this was in the afternoon, kind of the middle to late afternoon, and he rolled his Jeep.
Wow.
And it came back up on its wheels. Well, there's really only 3 wheels left because he had a flat because of the rollover, ripped his bumper off, and he kept on driving, went for about another 2 miles, and the DPS finally got him stopped, and he did come to jail for driving while intoxicated. So, and that wasn't on the weekend. That was in the middle of an afternoon. So it's not a good situation. But that, fortunately, the only one he hurt was himself, and he really didn't get hurt because he was under the influence. So he's pretty limber and kind of rolled with the vehicle. But his Jeep doesn't look so good anymore.
Yeah, I bet it doesn't.
But fortunately, he didn't cause anybody else to wreck, or he didn't run into anybody, and that's always a serious thing when they cause wrecks or run into people and take people's lives, or ruin them by having the accidents and causing physical pain and long-term problems. So
yeah, we're
going to get out there and get them off the street as fast as we can. And that was something that happened earlier in the week too. I guess that really wasn't newsworthy because we have the drunks that are arrested all the time, but he apparently has some troubles in his life, and upset and depressed, but that's no way to handle it.
Right.
By going out and getting so drunk that you don't even know what you're doing, and then he wanted to fight with everybody too, so wasn't a good situation.
Definitely not. Well, I guess we'll see you next week then, huh?
We'll be back.
Awesome. Sounds good. We'll see you then.
Oh, well, actually, next week I'll have to come in at a different time possibly, because next week starts the Hood County Livestock Show.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And yeah, so that's going to probably make a lot of news next week for you, and I will be out there helping out. I'll be helping out with the goats, and the goats, I think the weigh-in's on Thursday, and the actual show is on Friday morning after the pancake supper or breakfast. And so I guess we'll have to work out at another time.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, be very busy days out there at the reunion grounds for all the kids that are showing animals and have other things in the show. And then it'll all come to a conclusion on Saturday for the auction.
Right.
So it's going to be 4 very busy days.
Yes, it is, indeed. I remember seeing a sign out on 144 for it, and this year I was actually watching the weather this morning, and last year I remember it being really cold in the morning especially. And this year I don't think it's going to be that cold. I mean, it's supposed to be like 70 today.
Well, yeah, 70 today, but then it is supposed to cool off.
Oh, it is?
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't see next week's.
Yeah, I don't recall all of it, but I think it's supposed to be highs of in the 50s next week, so it'll be back down in the 30s or so.
Yeah.
So it'll be normal stock show weather.
Yeah.
Cold.
Well, we'll be there, that's for sure. We'll cover some of the stuff and bring it to everybody, and I'm sure we'll see you there.
We'll be there, and we'll be looking for you.
Well, have a good week, and I guess we'll see you at the stock show and talk to you sometime next week.
All right, we'll see you then.